Hello everybody, hope you're doing really well. Today, I'm not going to lie, this is a major treat for us today. We've come to visit a permission visit to an ARP Wardens shelter, and we're not allowed to give away location for obvious reasons because it is somebody's private property and nobody's ever filmed it before. So it's unique in that respect. So the moment we go in there, it'll be the first time it's ever been filmed, which is just amazing. Now, this would be technically my second ARP shelter that we've done. The first one was the console shelter in Edenbridge, which I got lucky enough to film. But on a technicality, this is our first proper one in sequence of where it originally is. The console shelter that we filmed before wasn't anywhere near where it originally was, so this one actually is where it is. All I can say is we are in a part of London, and that's all you need to know. There is an absolute utmost secrecy about this place. So if for whatever reason you know this place, please show absolute respect. The owner has expressed major permission on this one, and I'm very, very fortunate to have that access. So thank you to you out there for allowing me to do it. So I'm going to quit yapping and we better go explore it. So come on, let's do it. Hello everybody, hope you're doing really well. So yeah, welcome back, more importantly, and we are here at the very rare ARP shelter, which as you can see is a beautiful concrete construction. Now, when it comes to ARP, that stands for Air Raid Precautions. Obviously this was part of the Air Raid Precautions Wardens staff, and they would have been responsible for basically if there was an air raid, that they would have guided all the civilians into the air raid shelter and warned them of should there be an air raid strike. So they would have been, not always, but most of the time, responsible for the classic air raid siren that we know all too well during World War II, winding it around and getting everybody to safety, really, similar to obviously a fire watcher's post as well. What's amazing about this is the fact that ARP Warden shelters became various different constructions and different sizes, and normally they had a budget of around, I think it would have been about £70 to £75 back then. It's quite a lot, but they always vary in different sizes and different shapes. But what's remarkable about this one is the fact that this is a proper concrete structured ARP, which in itself is quite rare and quite unique. When you go into central London, you'd see normally like console shelters or something like that, and normally there'd be a series of sandbags. But where we are in relation to this, the air raid shelter, I could literally throw a stone at that to show you. And that's what makes it so remarkable about the context of this wonderful shelter. And I'm so privileged and grateful for the owner to allow us access in there today. As you can see, we've got those pesky budgies, I think they are, that are all around here in London. But yeah, come in with us. I think you're going to enjoy it. And yeah, let's do it. Okay everybody, so we're just about to go in. The owner kindly let us have like a little broom. There's loads and loads of spiders in there. We're using a heavy torch today because it is actually, strangely enough, it's quite dark in there. So come on with me, it's going to be fun this. Wow. Come on you. Right everybody, welcome inside properly. We had to stop just to clear a few more spiders' webs away because it's quite a menagerie of cobwebs and everything else. We've done our best to clear it. As you can see, this is now used, oh, let's walk in, as storage, and then there's a big old fuse box, sadly, at the end. Well, I say sadly, just as it is, and they've smashed a hole through the back of the shelter so that they could attach the cables and everything else for the fuses. But here we are, this tiny yet really important ARP shelter, and there's some snails at the top that have been migrating. Again, not uncommon. They've all been getting through the grill, you see. So look at that. The wildlife you see. But it is, in all intents and purposes, there's a nice little sculpture there of a man. Won't dwell on that too much. We've got to keep this place a secret. So again, if you are aware of this place, which I doubt you will be, but if you are, fair play. But we need to keep it a secret because the woman had expressed permission, or the owner, should I politely say, that we are very limited as to what we say, and this is the first time this has ever been filmed inside. So again, apologies for anybody out there. Now I'm going to turn this off, this torch, just to see how dark it is in here. Oh, and that's just a shadow of me, and you can see the only light coming through was through that vent. However, obviously during wartime there should be a light. There would have probably been a light at some point. Now I can't see any extra cabling. I will move forward though, however, but there are loads and loads of cobwebs, so this is as far as we're going to go, so we don't really need to move anymore because you need to just see it for yourselves. It's a remarkable condition. There's some interesting cabling there. I wonder if that was to do with it. It looks really, really old. Only one previous owner from the owner who had this place before, and they would have owned that during World War II. So actually the owner of this actually was surprised to note that it was an ARP shelter. And I had to explain to her obviously what that was used for in layman's terms. Because they just always assumed it was just an air raid shelter, which, like I said before, technically it is really, isn't it? But yeah, I'm just going to start heading out now. And you can see the original, another section of a door frame here. They all varied, so to sort of really give you an idea of these, they're very special and unique in lots of different ways. The fact that there are multiple different designs for these, and it was all to do really with the cost of the local area, or how much they wanted to put into protecting a place like this, really. So it's fascinating in its own right, and to me this is the first one on our channel we've ever covered, because they're not that easy to find, and they just totally vary. I mean, technically, okay everyone, look, technically some of you who've been watching my channel would say, well, you did that console shelter, which is the smallest ever shelter, which would have been used for ARP, and so yes, so this is technically our second one, but this is in no way that small. You can imagine obviously his duties, he would have been storing stuff in here, obviously quite possibly the air raid siren would have been in here as well, one of those hand cranked ones that we all know too well, and everything else in between. It's remarkable really. I think the best thing to do now is just to give it one more final sweep, and then let's just head out. Come on. And so here we are in the adjacent area, and this is the only left, so the air raid shelter itself is actually underground, and this is one of the sections, this is one of the corner sections for the shelter. But as you can see, we've just had a walk round and there's no other way or other concrete remnants that are sticking out. That's literally the only bit that you can see on that corner. But the fact that this is literally a stone's throw away, again, we can't really sort of show you where, for obviously concerns of obviously giving away location, obviously. But yeah, amazing that obviously that is the section of the air raid shelter. It's a stone's throw away from the ARP Wardens. So it all adds up historically, and it's really not hard to see when you're at a place like this how important sites like this are in terms of its context. So yeah, brilliant. Well, look, thank you so much for coming along with me. I really hope you enjoyed this amazing special treat on Phoenix history. It's another permission visit with another never before filmed piece of history, which just excites me so much, and it's such an amazing privilege when people allow me access to do this. So hopefully you really enjoyed that really special piece of history. Take care, everybody. Hopefully I gave you a little bit of the history without giving too much away. We will cover ARP shelters in more depth at some other point, but for now, if you really need to, I'm going to put down the console shelter link in the links below. So go down to the About section, check out the console shelter for another piece of unique ARP history / Firewatchers history. It's another story for another day. Anyway, any more words of Phoenix history, thank you so much for coming along with me, because history matters, and it just does, doesn't it? Take care, everybody. Kapow.